Hey friends, we are looking at the Mechanical Duck. This is by MJI and it's set number 13103 with 1,168 pieces. This Mechanical Duck has a crank, so it actually moves and articulates. This one crank does a bunch of different movements all at the same time. And we are going to also, because this is Monster Brick Reviews, I'm going to add a motor and we're going to see what happens when we add a motor. All right, so stay tuned for that. All right, so what is this? What are we looking at? This is a Mechanical Duck and he's got headphones on and he's also got a light kit. So he's got lights that come on. Let's turn on the lights right now. Okay, so now his lights are on. You can see that there's this light LED that comes through this tube and then that lights up the entire tube underneath and through it. Let's turn off the light so we can see that real quick. There you go. There's a better look at what it looks like with just his lights there, like that. All right, let's get some of the lights back in. So looking at this guy, I think they were going for a couple different things at once, right? As far as the design goes, they probably wanted him to look a little bit unsettling, and I think they achieved that. If you know the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, this probably feels like one of those animatronic characters, especially when they're kind of in rampage mode. You'll see there's a lot of decorations here, and these are all prints. There's no stickers with this set, which is really nice. The other thing that it reminds me of is maybe if you mix the Terminator with Howard the Duck, so you get this kind of blend of a duck with a robot, and it's intended to be a mechanical. So if you look here, he's got kind of greebling inside in that area, and right here he's even got a little red heart, which is isn't that sweet, right? And he's got these like exposed gears, some gears down on his feet. His feet are actually made up of different types of gears as well. I like the way that they shaped his gears. But let's show him moving, okay? So to do that, we're going to crank this crank right here. We're going to turn it, and you can turn it either direction. So there's a couple of things happening now. The wings are moving up and down symmetrically. The head is moving left and right, and the beak is opening and closing. All of this is being done with this single crank. And it's the same motion whether you go clockwise or counterclockwise. And it is on the slower side, but we are going to motorize it in just a second. We're going to take a look at what that looks like. All right, let's stop right there for a second. Okay, so as you'd expect, most of this core here is Technic. There's so much Technic construction in there. And we'll flip through the instructions real quick. You'll see what I mean. And to me, something is mostly Technic if by the time you get to the outside, they mostly use Technic panels, and here they do. And they're done pretty well, actually. These little panels do look like feathers. I didn't think you could get Technic panels to look like feathers, but here the wing and the feathers actually look right, and his tail feathers look okay too. And they've got this translucent Technic panel there, so you can kind of see in. He's got that robotic feel to him. We looked at the feet already. These are brick built for the feet, and they're not bad. There's a lot of pieces in here to get to that particular shaping, and you see his base is pretty robust. That allows all of that Technic construction to be sturdy. We saw the back. He's got this like clear jar right there, a lot more of those details, and telephone greebling, that's always popular, piping, and you can see where the wires go. So the wires go to a 2x4 black brick, and that's that 2x4 black brick right there. It has two wires coming off of it, one for this light, this black piece right here is a light, and then same on the other side, there's a light, and then the light just emits into this clear tube, and the clear tube goes through his headphone band. And up here for this face, you see that there's these orange dishes, and then these kind of rounded tile pieces that are printed for his eyes. And these are actually different pieces. Or am I seeing things? Are they different pieces? Maybe they're the same piece. I don't know. I'll have to study that. I am looking at it now. I can't tell. He's got this unusual shaping around his eyes there too. Almost looks like he's got a like he's missing eyebrows or something. And then he's got a little bit of spike right at the top of his head. So you can see he's got these spiked piece there. And the top of his head, if you look at his headband for the headphones, that's printed piece too. And it's got this kind of audio um, waveform along the top of it too, which is kind of neat. All right, so before we add the motor to it, let's do a couple more things. I wanted to show you the Technic construction. I mean, there's just a lot in here. So once you're going through here, look at how much Technic. I mean, you're building pretty much like a gearbox with multiple functions all happening throughout it. I mean, it's pretty cool. So, and then to get to his head is mostly brick built, but it's also got that articulation happening within it. So that's a look at that. And of course, you've got a box. I do want to say, hey, thank you to my friends over at CraftBrickWorks. They are the ones who sent this to me for review. They felt like this was something that my viewers would be interested in. And I think they're right. This is really unique. Okay, so I need to talk about one more thing, which is the color of the duck. So this duck has a color that, to my knowledge, is not in the Lego catalog. This is like a tan or a light flesh color. And my wife looked at it and she's like, that just doesn't look natural. And I finally put my finger on a couple things. One is it reminds me of like when my mom used to boil chicken, and she would just boil it and then she'd leave it to congeal in some sort of sauce, and she would just leave it on the counter for days. It was so unsanitary. But that is the exact color of the chicken, and it was like just freshly defeathered, and it was just kind of boiled and almost looked raw to me as a kid. I could never tell if it was raw or not. All right, so there's that unpleasant association with this particular color. The other association I have, I think because of this skull-like look in his face, is the art exhibit called Body Worlds that traveled around for many years. And if you saw the James Bond movie called Casino Royale with Daniel Craig, they actually go through the Body Worlds exhibit, and it has this sort of cadaverous feel to it. I think because of the colors and the way that these particular eyes are here. In Body Worlds, all the eyes kind of bug out and stuff. So I think all of that together just gave me this kind of unsettling feeling. And I don't think that was the designer's intent, honestly. I think that the designer was going for something hip and cool, and other designers got involved. And as more and more designers got involved, I feel like this got sort of a design by committee thing going, and it just created some problems as far as the vision coming through the final product. Now, if you were to change the color of this flesh color to white, that might actually work out better. So I'll put a picture up of what that looks like. The other option maybe is yellow, but then the yellow might be a little too close to this beak, the beak is a orangish yellow. So maybe white. So anyway, I'll put up an image of what that looks like. You let me know if you think that's any better. And in that image, I also took the decorations off just to see if that's an improvement or not. Okay, so motor. Now the nice thing about this model is they very helpfully already included a place to hook up a motor. So you see here, it's got an axle, and this axle is connected to the crank all the way on the other side. So they actually added this extra extension here. So this designer was probably more of an engineer than well, I'll say they're a good engineer. And the engineering in this model is really, really good. And they have this provision for a pin next to it. So works perfectly for one of these motors. So thank you, designer, for that. And I also really hope that the designer doesn't feel bad that I'm comparing it to a cadaver. I would love to hear from the designer if that was the intent and what happened. Like, how did this end up being sort of cute and sort of robot and sort of cadaverous all at the same time? All right, so now we've hooked that up, and I have it hooked up to one of these train regulators. And so let us move this just aside so we can start it turning. All right, well, let's go. So that's level 1. Okay, that's about the speed you could do it by hand. Let's go level 2. And that's much faster now. All right, the head is going back and forth. The mouth is opening, super creepy. And the wings go up pretty high. Look at that. All right, we're going to take it up to 4. I think we're at number 4 now. He's booking. He is booking. All right, I think we can go to 5. It's pretty smooth. It's not bad. Okay, max power. I don't hear any issues with the gears. I don't hear any clicking. And now we're in full like automaton territory. Just super creepy animatronic looking first generation Disneyland vibes happening here. If you've ever seen the Tiki Room at Disneyland, this is starting to remind me of that. All right, and I do want to show you where the articulation for the mouth is coming from. I'll just lift this up real carefully. Oh my goodness, please don't break. Oh, I grabbed the wings. Don't do that, don't grab the wings. Okay, so the articulation for the mouth is this clear ball joint piece right here. So as this is turning, there's actually a cam happening here that is pulling this in and out. And as it's pulling it in and out, and as the head is turning, it's actually forcing this mouth to move, to pivot against a hinge that's on the inside of his mouth. So that was really clever. I hadn't seen that before. Okay, there we go. So that's the look. Whoa, snatch my, it's gonna get my fingers. So that's the look at this guy. Let me know what you think. Creepy, cute, cool, terrifying. What do you think? Am I overthinking it with the colors? What would you do with the colors? Okay, thanks so much for watching. Like the video if you like it, hit subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Thanks again to my friends at CraftBrickWorks. If you'd like to buy this, I'm going to include a link in my description so you could check it out for yourself. CraftBrickWorks, they are a company that specializes in hand-picked models that are enjoyable to build. So check them out. You'll see a interesting assortment that they have carefully selected and curated. All right, thanks so much.